good morning, and welcome to the January 2017 edition of Civil Engineering Today. I'm Reed Brockman, your host, and today we have Jess Yarmarkovich as our guest today. Hey Jess, welcome to the show.
Great pronunciation, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
So you see, I grew up knowing Jess since she was in first or second grade, and well before she knew what a civil engineer was. Is that safe to say?
Definitely.
So, and here she is years later. And I've changed the pronunciation of her last name from the more Russian-y kind of one.
Thank you.
And hey, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
So Jess is the head of the Boston Society of Civil Engineers Younger Members Group. And this is actually one of the groups that we take the most pride in the Boston Society of Civil Engineers. And but before we really jump into the topic of the Younger Members Group, I'm going to, of course, ask you lots of questions about it.
Okay.
Just quickly, tell us a little bit about your paths in second grade. No.
My path is starting in third grade.
Yeah.
So like Reed mentioned, he had taken me on a little day to kind of explore what civil engineering means. So he took me to his company. He actually took me to this very recording studio, I think, back then. And I sat in the back. I was like, what is happening? But since then, I went to Syracuse University. I got my bachelor's in civil engineering, graduated, got my engineering training license while I was a senior. Decided to move back to Boston, wanted to be close to my parents and stuff, and was very lucky to stumble upon the job that I'm still in today. So I've been there for almost 5 years. So I was very lucky. I work at Niche Engineering in the civil engineering department.
Yep.
So
And I don't know if everybody knows much about Judy Niche, the person that founded that company. She's a past president of the Boston Society of Civil Engineers and one of the people who's done the most for our profession. And very involved with WPI and with getting girls involved in engineering. You guys at Niche, you guys still do all those kinds of activities over there?
Yeah, so she founded this annual event, Introduce a Girl to Engineering Day. And so my dad, actually, funny enough, I think when I was maybe in third grade or something along those lines, he took me to Niche's engineering, Introduce a Girl to Engineering Day. Yeah, so we did it. They did a tour of the Logan Airport. So we got to see that, and it was funny because my dad had he's a mechanical engineer, obviously, you know that, and he had worked on that project. So it was cool because I got to see his project, got to meet Judy, who I'd be working for, 20 years later, 15 years later. And it just really goes to show those programs, all those outreach programs, they do a number on kids, who knows how it benefited me. You kind of just get to explore the field, kind of figure out what it means. We were just talking about it before this started. It's hard to figure out what a civil engineer actually does until you are one.
I mean, just the words, you just hear the words. And first off, you know this, as we do programs with kids, just the definition of the word engineer.
Yeah.
Because it sounds so technical and everything, it's it's just, all right, just think of it as people just solving problems.
Yeah. You get creative, you solve problems.
Right. Creatively solving something.
Yeah.
But then you go to the next word and you're like, okay, an electrical engineer, it must involve electricity.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right, so mechanical, something moves. Civil.
Yeah.
What do we do?
Yeah.
Society? And that's what we do. Yeah, we involve, develop those systems and infrastructure that makes society work.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure it out.
So you guys have a very close relationship with, what are all the colleges in Massachusetts? You guys, not all the colleges, but there's 10 schools that have civil engineering. 10 local
ASE student chapters.
So how does it work? So you guys, these are students that have joined ASE, which is the American Society of Civil Engineers. Mm-hmm. They're local chapters in their colleges. So they've decided to be a civil engineering student at this point.
Yeah.
But as we know, just because you decided to be a civil engineer doesn't mean you really know what one
Definitely don't, yeah. Yeah, so for BSCS, part of the Younger Members Group, we get really engaged with those student chapter committees. So like you said, every local school has their own civil engineering section. They have their own events and programs that they do where hopefully most of the undergrad civil engineering students get involved. I think it's free for undergrad students to get involved in ASE, so.
Yeah. It was. And then even your first year, you're an ASCE member for free, and then they start charging you something the next year.
Yeah, it's kind of like a stepped.
More, and then within I don't know, 4 years or something, then you're on the full hook.
Yeah, so we kind of see ourselves as kind of the stepping stone for those kids who are undergrads preparing to graduating or just starting college as they're trying to engage in what it means to be a civil engineer and what they're really studying and what their degree is going to get them. We host a lot of events that we invite students to come to all the time.
So what kinds of stuff?
what kinds of stuff. So we have some events that are geared specifically only at undergrad students. So we have an annual student caucus, which is a really nice, dinner event. Kids come. There's open discussions. There's not necessarily a lecture, but open engagement. We had a really great one with the Student Leadership Council where we had these roundtable discussions that you can come and talk about, what does it mean to be an emerging professional? How do I write my resume? What am I supposed to wear to work? How do I have this interview with somebody? I've never done anything like that. So it's kind of just getting those seniors and juniors comfortable with, what's about to come as they try to transition.
I remember that, even though it's been a few years since I was in college. I remember, because like you, we both went to colleges that weren't in Massachusetts. I went to, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
And it's that knowing how to get a job actually is something that you're not necessarily trained for.
Yeah, no. I mean, a lot of schools have career services, but especially with things like in the engineering field, it's really specific with how you maybe want to, during an interview, talk about your senior design project, things like that. And it's things that you probably be best learning from people who've already done it. So that's kind of what we try to offer them, just guidance and help and reassurance and just whatever they need so that they feel more comfortable as they, graduate, get a job, hopefully come for work for some of our local firms, and we start seeing them more and more. Yeah. So that's one of our goals. One of our goals is get them involved in ASC while they're students, make them love it because we're so much fun and we have all these fun events. They're not all boring, and then they get involved as soon as they start working. Hopefully it's in Boston or wherever it is, they get involved in their local ASC chapter, and then they start getting involved in Younger Members Group as a working professional.
So you guys have someone in the Younger Members Group for each of the different schools, or or at least
Correct.
most of the different schools?
Yeah.
All of them?
So we have a liaison, for all of them. There's a new one actually in Western Mass that just started, and we've got a liaison there. So we have a liaison.
What's that, Western New England?
Yeah, WNEU. Western New England, yeah.
WNEU, right.
So they, our liaisons go there, whatever it is, once a semester, once a year, provide guidance for them. If the students think they want to have a panel of, experienced and young engineers come and talk about what their experiences are in the field, we'll help them coordinate that. We'll get all the people together. It's just part of what our mission is, to get integrated with those ASC student chapters. So we'll help them plan all those events. We invite them to every event that we have many, many times. And really, we offer them student discounted prices to try to get them, really encourage them to come.
Yeah,
so,
I know, and they've got a busy life of their own. So it is really hard to get college students.
There's
hard. So many other things to do.
Yeah.
It's hard to get them involved in it. But then, they're meeting you guys, and you guys are the people that have just been through what they've been through, and you're in the field and you know people that are working in the different offices. And when you get a big group of you together, you actually get a big breadth of different people doing way different jobs. Yeah. Like we were saying, civil engineering is the most vague field ever, so you could have right next to each other someone who designs buildings next to someone who's designing, clean air systems, someone who does star studies and how to keep the lighting from blocking out the stars. I actually know people then.
Nice. That's really cool. Don't mean to brag, but I know somebody.
No, but it's funny that there's
cool.
randomest things happen in civil engineering because, we're designing things to help society.
Yeah, I guess that's how you define it, right? Just design for, I guess, so it used to be called back in the day public works, right? Instead of civil engineering, which I feel like that's kind of a more relatable title.
Well, I think it kind of veered because people started making private developments.
Yeah. It's not all public. That's true. Yeah.
But yeah, it's all the same idea. Whatever happens in a public works department for a town, that microcosm that's doing a private development is doing the exact same things at some other level. And then there's the bigger level. There's some statewide groups that are, doing it's all the, just same thing. Whether you work for a small firm or a big firm, you might be doing a small project, but the big project's not that much different than a small project. Right.
So it's like allowing the public to access your site safely, comfortably, enjoyably.
So your goal is to make the college students kind of realize this and the world they're going to walk into.
Yeah, exactly. So we offer some, because I remember when I was in college, I learned all about differential equations and soil properties and materials, but I don't think I knew what I was going to be doing even when I accepted my job offer until I got there. It's like we've said many times, it's just vague and it's broad.
Yeah, and so many of the courses just at the time felt that they were so different than what you were really thinking you were going to do. Yeah. Especially all the math.
Yeah, exactly. Forgot all of it. But so we actually had this one really cool event that we were proud of. We got a grant through ASCE, and it was our first year hosting it, so we invited all the seniors, and we really geared it at seniors. So we were like, kind of match people up by their interests. We said, if you're interested in water, if you're interested in site development, if you're interested in construction, we'll match you up with a young professional and a very seasoned professional. And we had this dinner event, and we created these pamphlets that were kind of guides to, once you graduate, this is what you can expect. This is who you can contact if you have these questions. Like, this is where to find all these different resources. I think we had things, quotes from project managers, quotes from CEOs, and things like that.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was really fun, yeah. And so it was really just geared at that. We're going to help you try to get a job. We're going to help you meet people that might help you get a job, and we'll explain to you there's so many different options that you can go into, and here are some options, here's what they mean.
It's funny, we're like the one field that like other fields can go dry, but I feel like we don't.
Oh, yeah. I hope so.
We don't even have a slow moment, because even when the economy gets bad,
yeah,
it seems public works comes more alive. And even, new president coming in, it's all kinds of talk of, infrastructure, just crossing our fingers, hangs in there, hearing these numbers that got more zeros than I know how to count. And I'm like, I'm not sure what the word trillion means.
Yeah.
I can't really get my grip, but trillions of dollars of public infrastructure projects coming up. And and still students, even though it seems like the opportunities are there, I watch year after year, students struggling to get jobs. However, they only struggle so much because you guys are out there helping them out, and they make the calls to people like the BSES, at least the students that reach out, that don't just self-suffer.
Exactly. Because one option is you go through maybe your school career services and you send your resume through an online service, and maybe it looks at weeks later, maybe somebody looks at it, maybe nobody ever looks at it, you might never hear back. So I've gotten tons of emails from people through LinkedIn messages and people I've met at events just saying like, hey, if you're hiring, here's my resume, just talking about what they're interested in, bringing up specific things that they find interesting about our company. And clearly that goes a lot farther than sending your resume out into the abyss and seeing what happens. So that's one of the services that we're really proud of,
That's actually something
students.
it's really something important.
Yeah.
They're doing something. And the things that they're doing when they're in college, they're doing I know the steel bridge and the concrete canoe are like the two things that stand out in my mind as being those big college student activities. And you guys are there, you guys provide judges there at the competition and everything and get involved with the...
Yeah, we volunteer, we come there, we hand out cookies and stuff like that, and just make sure they're hydrated during the canoeing. I hear it can be kind of a gruesome activity. So
yeah, I did that one every...
Oh yeah. So we definitely volunteer every chance we can. We're always offering our help, like I said, to those student chapters. We're hoping this year to go down to Connecticut and volunteer there for those competitions. Oh, that's right,
because it always moves radically. Sometimes it's even up in Canada.
Oof.
Isn't it? It's like Laval.
Oh yeah, that's where the champions are of the concrete canoe.
Let's not talk about that.
Okay, sorry.
It might be this way.
No, we're the champions. Yeah, so we'll hopefully go down there, but we're always volunteering our services there, and panels, volunteering to go talk with those kids. I'm blanking on all the stuff we do because we're there a lot. We're at the schools a lot.
But you guys do activities once they're out of college too, because you guys are the younger members group, and your members are the people that have now it's up to 35 years old?
Yeah, up to 35.
Up to 35 years old. So these are people generally in their top 10, 12 years, their first 10, 12 years, settling in. By the time you're like 35, you're like, like the big senior.
Yeah.
Big senior people in the field already.
Yeah.
But it seems like about the right length. What do you do to... It's like, say you came from like another country or an out-of-state college, and you're not one of the 10 schools. I know that you guys do an amazing job. Just if you were working, if you went to college in Massachusetts and you were part of ASCE, then you know about the Boston Society of Civil Engineers, because Boston Society, it's not a Boston thing. It's the Massachusetts chapter of ASCE. Even though we've got our crazy story where we're a snobby little society that wants to keep our old name.
Yeah.
1848.
Yeah, be proud.
Be proud.
Yeah. Yeah, we do a lot. So our mission statement as the younger member group, we foster professional growth, ethical awareness, and technical development. So like you said, once the kids are out of college, once they're involved, a lot of our programming, it's really interesting for anybody between that age range, whatever it is, 22, 23 to 35. So we'll have technical events. This past year we had an event at Massport. They have this really cool flight simulator. So that's, it's not just getting people involved, it's getting people out there and actually learning more about things that they probably hadn't been exposed to, or maybe are exposed to.
Do you find that like a lot of students are taking like the first job they see, but it's not necessarily what they're interested in?
I'm sure that happens all the time, because you're not sure. That happened to me as an intern. I just wanted a job and they were like, construction, surveying, civil, traffic, what do you want to do? And I was like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what any of those even are. So I just took the first one that was open. It worked out awesome, but.
It was like me, I got a summer job working on inspecting bridges and working on rating reports, and I was like, I like this.
Yeah, and here we are.
I just haven't really ever changed.
Lucky, yeah. So that works out well, but I'm sure for some people, you take the first thing and it's a good experience. Like, all right, now I know that's not what I'm gonna do.
Right.
Yeah.
But you guys so you guys have actual get-togethers and everybody can share their experiences in the younger. I know that you guys have like lots of fun ones. Like I remember failing abysmally at your trivia thing or the Family Feud.
Yeah.
I should never play Family Feud ever again.
Yeah, we do. We're actually trying to have this new one that we're actually developing right now where people kind of just get together and just talk about projects, and we'll invite students to that, and that's going to be good for both people who are already working, just to see what other companies are doing, how they do it, what kind of projects other companies work on, and you get a lot of really, really close friends through younger members groups, so it's good to be like, oh, you're my friend and this is what you do every day, 9 to 5. Awesome. And then it's awesome for students who are coming there to be like, this is what somebody who works at a civil engineering company produces physically, because I didn't even know about construction documents before I started working there,
That's like the design counts are only really like 1/3 of the major thing. We actually also make the plans and we write specifications.
Yeah, so I think I was slightly involved with ASC when I was at Syracuse, and in retrospect, it would have been awesome if I was more involved. So I could have seen that kind of stuff before I came into my field.
Right.
Because I didn't see it until I started working, and obviously I love it now, but I was very blind coming in.
No, I mean, I think we all are.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're a college student, you're so busy with your college courses and getting through. You haven't really thought about what's the next step.
Yeah.
So it's good that you guys have a pretty well balanced approach between, the social and talking about the issues that you guys are facing, and your guys' attitude towards outreach. I mean, I know that you guys also, on top of that, you guys get involved in all kinds of community service and reaching out to the community as a whole. Because without that, people don't outside people that aren't in the field, they don't have any idea what a civil engineer is.
Yeah. No, that's
so
a great
what are
point.
some of the things, what kind of community service activities you guys get?
Yeah, we do some fun ones. We go to a soup kitchen volunteer. That's not directly related to civil engineering, but
Doesn't
just
have to be.
engaging.
But you're out there and you're just talking to people.
Yeah, let them know we're in the Boston Society of Civil Engineers. What does a civil engineer do? Maybe you could tell some people. We do cleanups at the Fells Way and things like that. So those are really fun because it gets people outside. It's a really good way to, form bonds with people, really get people communicating.
Yeah,
and
you're there for the day doing something that you feel good about.
It's fun. You feel good about it. You definitely meet new people. So we do things like that. We do annual drives, so we'll raise money for Thanksgiving time to feed people in the greater Boston area. We do Toys for Tots, so things like that. Yep. We definitely have a lot of fun doing those kinds of things. We're trying to develop more community outreach things to do through the city of Boston. So I think it'd be really good just to get people engaged that way.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's I think it's really important that everything you guys are doing, that you take it all the way down from like the younger level and through. And you talk about the bonds, and I just think about Rich that works with me. His whole story comes up through he had no idea when he was in high school, and he got involved in the Summer Transportation Institute, and then crazier is later, even though he followed the path that I saw him when he was in college, he started getting involved. I got him as a co-op. He eventually worked with me. But even crazier, in a younger member group, then he meets Natalie.
Oh yeah, at a conference.
Now he's married to another civil engineer, and he met her at a conference through one of the ASCE activities. And such a funny world.
Yeah, and he gives back. He got so much out of it, and now he's giving a lot back to Merrimack through his liaison position and stuff.
And just giving tours. It's not just Merrimack. He's taken other colleges on the bridge tour.
Yeah,
he's
the bridge
he's
tour.
the only other one giving them. I'd love
Just
to
you and
take
him.
other people. Like, that's what I'm going to do with you guys. I'm
Yeah.
going to get anybody from the Young Member Group that wants to learn all about Boston bridges. I will spend
That'd be
any
awesome.
length of time.
I would love that, actually. Yeah, that'd be really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so on that, we're actually getting towards the end of the show, and some of the things we're going to talk about, it's definite. You were just in on a chunk of a meeting just before we were having this, that we're having that infrastructure day, and that is going to be May, remember from that? Was it 13th, 14th? Which is a Saturday?
I don't remember.
It's either May 13th or 14th, but it's definitely a Saturday. And it will be in the Seaport District. We're going to celebrate the infrastructure of the Seaport District May 13th and 14th. High school students, we've been putting out there, especially you seniors in high school that are looking for something to do with the second half of your senior year when you're already kind of settled in and you've done most of your courses. What we've got for you is a challenge. It's a poster competition. And it is due at the beginning of May, and you are to research a north-south rail link. How can you get trains from North Boston to South of Boston? Not necessarily from north-south in the station. You can do it any way you can come up with. You can be as creative as you want. You present your ideas on an electronically submitted board. We're going to print them all out, and we're going to have it judged. It sounds like, I hope I'm not speaking too early, but some of the people that have said that they want to be involved in this, former Governor Michael Dukakis is among the people that we've actually talked to about this, and hoping, I shouldn't overspeak. But, and lots of groups, the Boston Society of Architects, it's going to be great. The other things coming up, outreach-wise, we've got, let's see if I can get my dates right, January 21st, which is really around the corner, is the Future City Competition, grades 6, 7, and 8, designing their dream cities of the future, and then they not only have to explain what their city is like, but explain exactly how it works. All the systems, where they get the power from, what they do with their waste, everything with a special theme this year being they had to design a network of public spaces within their cities. That is going to be on the 21st of January at 10 Park Plaza, starting bright and early in the morning. I think registration starts at 8:30, hopefully ending by like 3:30 in the afternoon. And then the day before the Super Bowl, like we do every year, we have the model bridge contest. This year we decided to go back to the world's most basic materials, and we chose to have popsicle sticks and glue gun glue, which actually looking back at it is a combination that has never happened. We had Elmer's glue and popsicle sticks a long time ago. So we are in new territory with the world's most basic materials. Yeah. And that'll be on, I believe, February 4th, Saturday, February 4th, also at 10 Park Plaza. Why 10 Park Plaza? Because that's the transportation building, and that's where MassDOT is, and we love MassDOT because they do things like give us their space. So, and then the other contest is, well, so there's 4 contests. I already talked about the one that's going to be an infrastructure day. That one, the website, celebrateinfrastructure.org is the contest, that first one, that where I put up the poster contest. Everything else, if you follow the link, I know I've kind of butchered it, but if you follow the link right now of engineeryourfuture.org, then you can get there. And I just want to wrap it up. And Jess, thank you very much for coming down today.
Having me.
And thank you very much, everybody. And we'll see you next month on Civil Engineering Today.